and welcome to another episode of A Talk of Opportunity. This is Jose, and with me as usual, Andrew.
Hello.
Hi, Andrew. And
hi, Jose. How are you doing today? How's your day going? How was your Mother's Day? Was it good?
It was fine.
Did you see your mother?
Did
you give her a kiss on the forehead?
I
give her a little gabagool, a little baked ziti?
I gave her a call, and I wished her a happy Mother's Day.
Did.
Listen, there's been like COVID stuff happening down there. I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah, big COVID stuff. Yeah.
How about you? How's your mother? Let's not get into that.
Yeah.
Right. And today we're talking about something that I struggle with, but Andrew loves.
Yeah, this is a weird, I don't know if you struggle with it, but for when I first talked about it, you're like, ew, God, no, I'm not doing that. It was like,
listen,
whoa, hold on.
I know.
Hold on a second.
I know my limitations. I know how I am. I ain't gonna take on that much work.
Yeah, but you were like, I am never doing that. I'm like,
Well, if you haven't guessed by now, we're talking about homebrews.
Yeah.
And today, for the very first time, we are premiere here only, and also in the ad that I ran last week, our new bumper. And Andrew, shut the fuck up, because I'm gonna play it.
Did you rent an ad?
Yeah, I did.
Cool.
We got a lot of traction with that. Anyway,
really cool.
Yeah,
okay,
we did.
All right,
Let's play the music. You won't hear it, Andrew.
I'm not supposed to talk about over this part, right?
Oh no! Shut up, man. All right, guys.
Just in the background, Andrew, shut the fuck up.
Let's get this party started.
Going after that brutal assault by the Orc warrior, the initiative now goes to you. Jose, what do you do?
I'm gonna cast. All right. That's a brand new shiny bumper. And Andrew actually was quiet the whole time. How about that?
Yeah, I was holding my breath. For some reason, you're like, Andrew, stop talking. Okay.
No, don't hold your breath. You're just not supposed to
I just want to see if I could.
That's good. I played the what would you do short version.
That was the short version?
That was the short version.
Now I know what it's like to be on the other end of a banishment spell, because I'm like,
I'll see you in a minute.
That can't be 20 seconds.
How long has it been? 2 seconds. Oh my god.
There's can you okay, hold on. Does the banishment spell does it increase when you use a higher spell slot, or is it just a one spell slot power thing?
I actually don't know.
Okay, because I just can't imagine, because I know it's if you're a demon, you get sent back to the realms of chaos, and if you're a devil, blah blah.
I actually imagine that you get to send back to the realm of, or Avernus or whatever, but it's you get sent back to your mother's kitchen table, and she's just right, there when are you gonna get married?
But if you're on this, if it's someone that's native to the same plane of existence, so for us it'd be the material plane, and someone uses a banishment spell on us, we just get sent to a blank gray void. I imagine me sitting through the bumper was kind of similar to what that was like, where I'm just sitting in absolute silence, and those 20 seconds are an hour.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, to answer your question, at higher levels you can banish multiple creatures.
Oh, okay, multiple creatures, not okay.
And we got a bunch of followers. We got a bunch of viewers now. So welcome to the stream. Wow, today we're talking about homebrews. Yes.
How many?
Six.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not even watching, so it's not me. So there's that.
God, of course it's
I don't have my viewership farm on right now.
It's working on Dogecoin. I can't.
I can't get it. Anyways, but hold on, before we get started on homebrewing,
let's talk about actual brewing.
Yeah.
Okay, don't open it next to the.
You didn't brew your own, Andrew? If I remember correctly, if I remember correctly,
this is my beer.
You said you were going to brew your own beer.
I even designed the label.
Wow, that's a very nice label, bro. Are you going
Okay.
after my job? What's a
Yeah, a
graphic
little
designer?
bit.
Damn it!
Okay, so I said I wanted to, but I didn't realize it takes like about a week or so. And I asked you Friday, like, hey, are we recording? You're like, yeah, we're gonna talk about homebrewing. I'm like, oh well, fuck me then. I guess I don't have time to.
We were gonna do another episode, but things happened and we couldn't do that episode. So whatever.
Circumstances.
Yeah.
So this kind of got bumped up next to it.
Anyway, so what are you drinking though? You just show the ugly label that you designed.
Today I am drinking a Crooked Stave, the Viale. It's an artisanal saison.
Oh, what's a saison?
It's a farmhouse ale, which means that it's brewed with wild yeasts and Brettanomyces.
Huh. That sounds interesting. I'm drinking. Wait for it. Ooh. I'm drinking a Florida Avenue Brewing Co. Passion of the Heights.
That's really
hibiscus
good.
Ale. I am very excited for two things. I love hibiscus, and I got one of these little glasses.
Oh, you got a tulip glass. Good for you, man.
About time.
This smells sour. This smells like a sour.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Don't fuck up the pour, Jose. Come
Ooh.
on. Get your shit
Oh,
together.
but it doesn't. Hold on.
Now everybody just saw me on screen struggling to pour this. Oh, this was so That's
different.
wow.
Ain't it? It's good, right? The hibiscus isn't like super overpowering. Right. It's just like it's enough to.
It's there. It's like a hint. It's like a what's it called? What do you call it? Like a sparkling water hint, but on the beer.
Yeah. It's a hint of hibiscus.
It's a part of a hint of it.
It rode in the same train car as a hibiscus.
I love that meme strand.
But what's it? It's that beer is like the exact opposite as one hibiscus beer I had from. Shit, what's the name of it? Oh God, Coppertail. And it was like, oh, this is a hibiscus, blah blah blah, whatever. And I had it, and it was like pure hibiscus. I was like, oh, I don't.
I want my beer to taste like beer. Come on. I appreciate the flavors, but I still want the hint of. Anyways,
so
Andrew.
This one, hold on, I want to talk about this real quick.
All right.
So this beer, it starts as a sour, but it doesn't have that sour punch at the end. It starts as a sour, and then it slowly dips into like ale territory.
Really?
And settles there. Yeah,
that's
really
fun.
It's different. I wasn't expecting. It kind of took me on a bit of a ride. It was like like a magic carpet ride.
This one's nice. It's very, very light. It has a hibiscus. Is it a wheat? What is it? Yeah, it's a wheat ale.
It's a wheat.
Yeah, you can definitely taste the wheat in there, but it's very refreshing, and it's not gonna take it for a wild ride, but it's gonna hold you in its embrace and kiss you in the forehead.
That beer that you're drinking, that's like a good, like casual drinking with friends kind of beer.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
It's like you want to impress them a little bit, but you don't want to be like, oh, this is a triple IPA that you can only get like once a year.
And they drink and it's like.
Yeah, exactly. And they look like Homer after having the ultimate sour candy where it's like just sucked in. Yeah, no.
Oh, by the way, my dad had an IPA for the first time when I went down to St. Pete with him. He loved it.
Which one did he have?
Oh, I can't remember. Because
there are some that's like, do not have this until you build a palate.
No. It was definitely not. It was definitely not like one of those crazy ones, but it was definitely an IPA. But he really enjoyed it. It was also really hot outside, so it was like perfect.
Oh, dude, when it's hot outside, you would think an IPA would be like the last thing you want to drink when it's hot out, but there's something about it like that, especially if you get an East Coast IPA and it's like that really juicy like front and then the bitter finish. Oh my gosh, it's like manna from heaven.
We got it from Hops and Pops. Hops and Props.
Okay.
And
hop. It's a Dr. Seuss microbrewery.
Well, they don't have the menu online.
One fish, two fish, red fish, brew fish. I don't know about this one.
What are they teaching our kids nowadays? So, Andrew, homebrewing.
Can we talk about beer a little bit more?
No, Andrew. Damn it! This is
episode 100. We're gonna get there.
I thought that was the metal episode.
No. Episode 666 is the metal episode.
All right, guys, stick around for that one. It's gonna be great.
Okay. Well, we can make it 66.66 or 66.6. It's gotta be 66.66. Come on, dude.
Okay, let's move on to what we're here for. And
actually, that just might be my own little side vanity project. Anyways.
No, we're definitely gonna do a metal episode and a beer episode for sure.
But I wouldn't put that on the main channel because it's like I don't want to bore everybody with. And then 1969 Black.
No. It's gonna happen. We're gonna do it.
Okay. But
and we're gonna do it live, and like I'm just gonna do like a time lapse of me just going.
Just practice your reactions. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Wow, really?
Wow. Yeah, it's a loop. It's a loop of me. I'm like playing video games or something.
Yeah. In the background, you're fucking playing like Nier Automata or some shit.
It glitches out and it shows like my screen, and I'm playing.
You're playing The Witcher. I can see it in your glasses.
No, I'm not. It's like reflecting.
I see the Gwent table, you motherfucker.
You know what you're talking about, man. I promise you. I'm listening. I promise.
Hey, Jose. You want to play a round of Gwent?
Oh, man. All right. Andrew, the main topic for today. The one of the ones.
I almost smacked my hands again.
I see you. You're like... Homebrewing. I'm gonna start only because I know you're gonna take over and lead, because this is your wheelhouse. This is what you do. You always text me all the time about all the crazy ideas that you have.
You actually are gonna have to kind of like jog my memory, because there's a lot that my cup had completely runneth over on too many things. And I'm not like bragging. The cup is small.
It's like half of this.
Yeah, it's like a shot glass. It's just like constantly pouring stuff into it.
So here's my experience with homebrewing. I've never done it myself, like by myself.
Oh, okay.
And the only you've been the only one who has DM actual homebrew adventures for me and our friends. Which, by the way, we still talk about that one that you did, and we're probably gonna talk about it later on, with the spaceship thing and that guy who like kicked our asses. And
we might still continue that one. That
was like what, like 5 years ago now.
That one has secured itself firmly on the throne in the maybe pile.
Yeah, no, please. But for me, it's always been, because I remember I went to like cool stuff back before I even started like actually DMing. And actually, I think it was around the same time when I got the box, like the starter set. And I asked the guys, like, hey, if I want to start, blah, blah. And then he did you can find a DM, or you can start DMing yourself, blah, 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 blah. If you do DM yourself, you can make your own adventure. And then, or you can buy one of the pre-made adventures. And with that knowledge, I went home and I was like, how to create my own homebrew adventure. And I started like looking, I started reading. I read for like an hour or two. And he was like, yeah, no, I'm just going to buy a pre-made module. Because there's two things I know about myself. I have way too much shit going on, and I enjoy my free time that I have.
Yeah.
And I want to be truthful with myself when it comes to that kind of stuff. Like I promise to DM a game for my friends over here that never played D&D, and I talked to you about this. I wanted to like maybe make something homebrew, and I'm already freaking out because I'm like, I haven't worked on it.
I mean, that's kind of okay. So
well, hold on before you take over. Give me a second. So that was my original experience with it. So I started doing modules from there on. It has always intrigued me, the homebrew, because some people come out with the craziest fucking shit, like stuff. I'm just like, wow, how can you never? And you go to like DM's Guild and you find like some really cool stuff that people have made. They're published, but like they were homebrews for them at one point or another. Mm-hmm. And then you hear about the guy who's been playing the same campaign for like what was it, like 20 years or something like that? Yeah. And like I'm just like, wow, how do you even keep track of that? And the part that intrigues me about it is the freedom of just like not being tied to the book and just like exercise those improvisation muscles. The only time I got to work on that homebrew was with you when we were doing the Viking one,
which is still in the maybe pile. I haven't thrown it out.
It's still in the maybe pile, and I really enjoyed coming up with the ideas and the visuals. I'm more of like the visual stuff. You're more of like the storytelling part of it. That's why I think we do.
Well, also mechanics. Like you really have to think mechanics are going to be the biggest thing.
Right. Right. And you're good at that. But for me, like I'm more of like the visualization of the story type situation, and I think that's why we make a good team. What discouraged me about that is that we were like really working on that for like 3 weeks or so, like actually like meeting like on a consecutive.
We put time away to be like, okay, we're gonna work on this for about an hour or two, something like that.
Yeah. And then I remember because I was like, oh, this is looking really great. And literally like the next day or so, I got an ad for like a Kickstarter of this amazing like Nord Viking campaign that somebody is like it's already released by now, but like at that time I'm just somebody already like have the whole thing done. Like it discouraged me.
Well,
so I think that's part of the reason why we stopped. But anyway, so that was like the only thing. And then the only other exposure I have with homebrew is Andrew texting me constantly about his fucking homebrew classes, homebrew stories. He changes his mind like 40 million times.
I imagine the texts are like responding like, and then you like go back to whatever you were doing. He's like, you just see it like, oh Jesus fuck. And then Kristen's like, he's texting you again, isn't he?
I can't make him stop.
It can wait till the morning. It's fine. Don't worry about
it. Wake up next morning, it's like 27 messages, 2 PDFs, and a word.
What if there was like a deeper desert domain for druids? It's like.
Yeah, pretty much. So that's where I'm at. Like I'm base level for all this stuff, right? So I think this is the great opportunity for me and for our viewers and listeners to pick on Andrew's brain when it comes to homebrewing. So Andrew, homebrewing.
Let me ask you a question. Okay, let me ask you a question. Have you ever looked at a rule? Or has a player ever asked about a rule? You just go like, nah, we're not going to worry about that or anything like, something like that. Okay, boom, you already did homebrewing.
Oh, I'm an expert then.
No, seriously, okay, so what I'm trying to get at is that every table, to a certain extent, does homebrewing.
Okay.
It can be something as small as we're not going to count ammo, or something as big as this is my campaign, or something even crazy like this is my homebrew class or race or whatever. But every table does homebrewing, and if you read between the lines, or not even read between the lines, of a lot of the Wizard of the Coast material, they want that. They like homebrewing. Like that's you could tell they kind of promote it. But okay, so the reason why homebrewing took off, or the reason why homebrewing like means a lot to me, is because your introduction to D&D was with modules and pre-generated adventures and stuff. My introduction to D&D was okay, you make your character and you pick a class, race, and we're already in a homebrew adventure setting. There's no what's a Greyhawk? Faerun? No. Okay, you're in the kingdom of whatever the name of this place is, and it's just, and I'm not entirely sure how much of the DM's notes were on paper and how much of it was just like in his brain as it was kind of coming along. But I never, until I came into this group, and this is not like an insult or anything like that, but until I came into this group, I've never played an adventure that was from a module, to the point that I didn't even know there were pre-generated adventures.
You told me, because you used to talk to me about the adventures that you used to have with your old group, and some of the stuff was ridiculous, like the whole like Disney thing, like Disney themed like islands or whatever. Now that's what got me excited about D&D.
Yeah.
Sadly, I started as an adult with responsibilities and couldn't spend that much time making homebrew stuff.
But it's not something. The important thing to remember is that it is a game. Right. It is supposed to be fun. So don't put so much pressure on yourself. And that's honestly kind of the reason why the whole the Sky Shard campaign that the one session I ran, that was the whole reason why it kind of sort of went into like a permanent hiatus, was because I had put so much pressure on myself. Like, okay, everybody is going to have some sort of like thing and stuff. And I went into far too much detail. Like I was coming up with cities and like, okay, how are they going to get to the city and stuff like that, and how what if this scenario happens? And it's just no, you kind of just need to step back, let the rules take over for a bit, and the beauty of that is that if you have a skeleton structure for adventures and whatnot, the organic storytelling is going to fill in those gaps for you. Like you'll like, and this is where it really pays off to have player characters kind of come up with the world with you and say like, oh, I'm from a circle of druids that are off the, I don't know, the Emerald Plains of Amular or some crap like that, and you're like, oh, the Emerald Plains, okay, all right, okay, I can incorporate this into the story, and then so you kind of sort of siphon this creativity from the players, and you distill it into your own campaign. So that way they feel like, oh, I got something out of this. But I'm like, no, you just gave it to me. I just refined it and put it into your story. And on top of that, like you can, it alleviates the burden from constantly world making, because world making is exhausting.
Yeah.
It really is, because it's like, there have been some times where I come up with a cool concept for a city. I'm like, okay, this city's going to be pure magic. It's just like, everything's magic and stuff. And you're like, well, hold on, how are they funding for the magic? And it's like, okay, things gotta be really expensive. Okay, real estate's gonna be really expensive.
So do you really have to think about that much stuff?
No, but that's a self-defeating thing. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, okay, so if everything's magic, how are they gonna pay for it? Going to a tavern is gonna be like 50 gold a night.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah. So and so then you have kind of this like what I'm trying to say is, if you're gonna homebrew, it's just like for prepping for a module, don't overdo it. Just a little bit at a time. Just kind of and just sort of let the world build on its own, and it will. It's just a lot like have you read anything about like creative writing from like George R.R. Martin and Stephen King?
No.
Like there's the book on writing by Stephen King. He's like, I surprised myself. I just put myself in the mindset of these characters and I just start writing, and I'm just channeling these characters, and they'll just do something I wouldn't expect them to do. But I'm like, wait, that's what these characters would do. And you kind of, it's like this weird, it's kind of like this weird, what's the word? I guess possession. And it's just, okay, wow, this happened. And it just sometimes it just comes completely out of the ether, and you have to throw it in there.
See that puts us in a nice perspective for me, because in my head, it's always been like, when you ran your few adventures that we played, you knew everything.
Yep.
Like you just had like massive amounts of notes on like all the bits and pieces of all the towns, forests, and like, you know, even down to like the rivers and what goes to what and stuff like that. That's what always holds me back. Is the fact that, like, for me, it's like, oh, I have to have like everything created before we even start session 1.
Can I pull back the curtain completely on this one?
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
If you want to.
outside of the town, because I did have a very basic map of the town, and by basic I mean, okay, here's a river, here's some houses, and they look like stick figure houses. Outside of that, I didn't have jack shit on anything. Nothing.
Even the forest and like the quote unquote shard and all that stuff.
The shard was different. The only thing I had was very basic stuff, like, oh, there's going to be a door here that requires this to open it, and for the forest, I just had a random encounter table, and just small details like the tree line is so thick that sunlight can't permeate through the deeper reaches of it, and like it's going to require an X amount of survival skill to successfully navigate it. Other than that, just bullshit the entire way through. And just like the whole like how the bandits reacted, it was just like an organic thing. Like, okay, these guys are starving, but they're ruthless at the same time, so they're going to be really desperate. They're going to act like caged animals. But the leader of the bandits was like a former soldier, so there's going to be a little bit of glory like left in him. So it's like, you know, it was just like kind of like, okay, you're on the stage, go. and it's very much like you have the basics of a screenplay and
Even-
you're your own director.
Even the part with like when I was like stealthing around the. Cool.
Complete bullshit, because you asked
So
me
are
if there
you?
was a hill.
Yeah.
You asked me if there was a hill. I'm like, yeah, there is now. Because,
So what you're telling me here, Andrew, is that you're a fraud.
No, what I'm telling you is this
Everything's
is
a lie.
what I'm telling you is that I didn't have a full fucking globe of the world. I just it's like the VR thing. Is there a chandelier in this room? Yeah, well, now there is. So and it just you feed the DM information, and the DM will process said information and go from there. Like I didn't have a number of bandits. I'm just like, how many do I want to throw them? Fuck it, 7. So you know,
Level 1 characters. Oh my god, there's so many.
well, I mean, you kind of destroyed them, so
That's true.
I guess it wasn't that bad. But like the whole beginning encounter, like the middle. I mean, like the end was a little bit scripted. Like I had like, okay, this guy's gonna do this to obtain this goal, but it wasn't like I had lines written out for him. I honestly was not expecting you guys to be like, oh yeah, here's this fucking psionic baby, you take care of it. And he's like, oh wow, okay, that was easy.
Wait, did we really do that? I can't remember.
Kind of. So
I can totally see us doing that too.
yeah, I don't want this. Here, you take care of him.
That's too much responsibility, man.
Actually, I think if I remember correctly, the group was like, yeah, no, we don't have the responsibility first. But he like grafted himself onto, not grafted, what's the word? Imprinted himself onto you. So you're like, no, it's my kid. And he's like, all right, fine, have it your way. Fireball. So
I remember that.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's why it's like the biggest cliffhanger in a group. We still want to know what happens after that.
Well,
Andrew.
I mean,
So
think-
Andrew,
think-
listen.
think-
I'm gonna tell you
think
something.
of it-
I'm gonna tell you something.
think of it-
I'm gonna tell you
think
something.
of it. Think
I'm gonna tell you something.
think of it.
I'm gonna tell you something right now.
Think of it.
We actually all talked as a group. The reason why we're taking a break right now is because we want you to continue that story next week.
Okay, fine. All right, I'll get to it. Then you guys get to meet the stone giant. That, I don't know. Actually, no, I do have notes for the next session. Nothing ever came of it.
Damn it, Andrew. So
I mean, it was gonna get some weird shit because you're like, you guys want to get weird with it? You guys want to go to the Underdark? And everyone's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, fine. And then I'm like, oh, I'm in way over my fucking head. But I learned a lot. No, seriously, I learned a lot from running Curves of Strahd and just like being in other adventures. I'm like,
yeah.
Okay. So now I do feel confident enough to at least have another session. So 5 years later, hey, you guys still have those characters, right?
Yes, actually, I think it's in my D&D Beyond. Hold on a second. That's gonna be funny if it does. So this actually makes me feel a lot better. I don't know, like now it's like seems silly to me because who the fuck is gonna have a full 300 page book ready to go?
Okay, so here's another thing. I have this adventure that I want to run eventually. I'm still working on it. But I've told you about this. It's the one where there's like a master wizard for every class of magic, stuff like that. Purely in my head. I don't have a single fucking thing written down. But I know it. I know it's still all there. But it's just, hey, you know what? Just fucking run with it. Let's just see what happens. You know, so, and I mean, it's just, everybody's different. Some people want to like, oh, what's the, like what's the trade market? Like what's their biggest export and import? And I'm just like, hey, you know what's really cool? Explosions. How do I incorporate that into the story? So I mean, I know I'm probably like the Michael Bay of like D&D when it comes to home brewing, but it's still like Transformers made a lot of money. So,
you're not wrong.
Yeah. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's a really good beer.
I recommend this beer 100%.
Oh yeah. But I mean, like at the end of the day, it's like, okay, I came up with this adventure, and I got a little bit of gratification because I ran this adventure,
right?
And the players had fun, and what they did tell me, like that little bit of like those nuggets of role playing, I could take that and I can like, okay, now I can just sort of drop this in there,
right?
I mean, I might as well just fucking say it because she's never gonna play D&D again because I probably ruined it for her. But Vashi's character. Like I was gonna have a whole arc just for her character about like the warlock.
She was a drow, right?
Yeah, she was a half drow warlock whose patron was the Demogorgon. I was gonna have a whole thing where her house like tries to like kidnap her because she was like the heir or something like that. And he's like, nope, you're not safe in the Underdark. Kind of, And
actually, I spoke to her Vash and she says that yes, because of you, she doesn't play D&D ever again.
I don't blame her. I'm sorry. Did she actually say
that?
No,
dude.
I wouldn't blame her, honestly.
I'm sure she was just being a good girlfriend and playing so Howard would be happy.
she was in pure girlfriend mode.
Yeah. It's okay. That's fine. I mean, at least she tried. You know?
Yeah, no, you don't know what you like until you try it.
That's true.
I mean, that's fine.
So Andrew, okay, so if let's say take me for example, and I am supposed to make a small adventure for a couple of friends that never played D&D before, what are some tools that we can look into to help us come up with everything about that adventure?
Okay, so a couple tools. You want to kind of look up basic like storytelling, like the beats so you want to have maybe some pretext, a little bit of pretext going into the adventure. That's going to be that big dialogue box as a DM. You're like, oh, this tale starts in the land of Engelmar or some shit like
right.
that. So you want to have a little bit of pretext to kind of set the stage, because you honestly need to think of it like a stage play or like a movie or something like that. But it's like it's improv theater. That's the word I was thinking for. It's improv theater with dice and mechanics
for basic rules. Yeah.
So you want to set the stage, and you're like, okay, I'm at a coffee shop. Okay, and I'm missing an arm. I don't know. No. But like, okay, so your adventure takes place in X town, and they are dealing with X problem.
Right.
How do you go about doing that? And so if it's a level 1 player, not player character, level 1 player, meaning they never touched D&D before, have it be basic. I wouldn't go anything like super duper crazy. Like I wouldn't be throwing like what's that? What's that mon? Yeah, I wouldn't be throwing mind flares. I wouldn't be throwing like those weird the Underdark monsters that are like just teeth that cling onto the wall. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. I can't think of it right now.
But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't throw anything like that far off left field. Like if you want to get a little left to center, you can just be like, hey, there's more to the D&D than just like goblins and dragons and shit. Right. But I would still probably keep it pretty basic, and I would also have the townsfolk be pretty basic. Like, oh, here's the innkeeper, and he's a big rustic, and he has a little too much to drink from time to time, and and he has like the red nose and crap, and like, oh, and here's the mayor. He's I just only care about re-election, and so play a little stereotypically, right, because you want to ease in the players into a false insecurity, and then that's when you throw the fucking mind flayers at them.
Or the Obelix says, what's happening?
Just in the middle of the night.
Level 2 surrounded by mind flayers.
Give me your brains.
What is happening?
I need to see some intelligence saves. Intelligence 1? Okay, now the beak pierces your skull.
And you're all dead.
And an intellect devourer takes its place, and now you're a mind thrall. So we're going to pick up next week on...
Yeah, they have blank expressions in their faces looking at you.
That's how I would run.
Yeah, I know you would. First, it's all points to goblins and all points to trolls. The big trolls.
Nope.
Next thing you know, mind flayers and zombies. Fucking Andrew.
I don't have room for weakness at my table. I have to call out the herd.
Andrew, what the fuck? They've never played D&D.
And just set up next session just to see who doesn't come back.
but then next session is just standard D&D.
Yeah, it's just standard. Oh, you have to find the 3 gems of virtue and some crap
it's
like
all
that.
whimsical and nice.
Yeah, and then like you get the second gem and the third one attached to a Dracula skull and it smashes you into little pieces.
Oh my god, I need to write this down.
Just every session at the 11th hour takes a very violent and twisted turn. You're just like, oh my god.
It's just you committed war crimes.
What?
Yeah, all those goblins you killed, they were legal citizens of this land.
They were sovereign citizens.
Something they will never even expect. And that's D&D.
Yeah. All of your actions have consequences.
Think before you act, bitches.
Okay, but that actually kind of touches on something. It's something important that I wanted to discuss about them. Oh, is that it? Is that the episode?
Yeah,
okay.
all right, guys. See you tomorrow. Oh, man. Oh, I think I'm going to incorporate a little bit of that onto my campaign. I don't know how, but the end is going to like leave him like, what the fuck?
You hear a creaking sound in the tavern. Oh, no. It must be a goblin thief. Mind flayer! You wake up and you see the rogue's like head encased in tentacles. It's like the beak like pierces the top of the skull. He's like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Smash cut the credits.
Oh god.
It's gotta be like some shitty like ukulele like ka-ching, 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 ka-ching. Executive producers. I can see that being like an Adult Swim thing. Anyways, okay.
What I love about that is that the people I'm playing will probably love that shit. I'm not even gonna.
Oh yeah, you can't. Dude, I can't tell. Okay, that. I would love to have an adventure just be like a bog standard, like, oh no, someone kidnapped the princess, and then sweep the rug out from him like at the last minute.
No, the princess is a mind flayer. What is with you and mind flayers?
The town is mind flayers. And Boblin the Goblin is also a mind flayer. And it's
like a goblin, but he has the
No. It's a mind flayer, but like with the goblin ears, like shittily duct taped to its head.
Andrew, what is it with you and mind flayers, man?
Hey, he had a disguise kit. He had proficiency.
You guys failed on your checks, okay?
He rolled really well. He rolled really well for deception. He just dropped the deception. That's all that.
It's not even like good tape. It's like the shitty
I just imagine because my flares are like 7 feet tall. He has like the little boy shorts on, and it's like way too short. He looks like fucking Angus Young with the.
Yeah. If they don't like that first session, oh god. Okay, I'm done.
I'll come back.
Oh gee.
So that's why I can't ever play in the Adventurers League again. Anyways, okay, so basic things. 1, name generators. Fantasy name generator. It's a pretty basic name generator, but it does pretty much anything you want it to. Like do you want something that sounds like it's from Lord of the Rings? Boom, you got Lord of the Rings. You want something that sounds like from Game of Thrones? You got that. It's got real name generators. It's got pop culture. It's got fantasy. Anything you can think of, it probably has.
They really need to redesign that UI though. That user.
Oh, that UI is terrible. But I mean, it's I kind of get the feeling that it's like just like like it subsides purely on donations. So I'm also not going to knock it. Yeah. But also in terms of like encounters, kind of go with the CR a little bit. I know the challenge rating is a very loose and fluid rule. Yeah. Because you'll have like some CR5 monsters that will get nuked by a level 3 party, but then you have like a bunch of CR 1/8 monsters that will destroy a level 9 party. But kind of loosely go with that. And the general rule of thumb is that if you want this to be the boss monster, I would always do like CR level of the party like +1 or 2. So if it's a level 1 party, I wouldn't go any higher than like CR3.
Okay.
And but if you have the Xanathar's guide, there is random encounters for every terrain. Like, if it's going to be tundra, you're you're gonna come across a frost giant or like a rock or something like that. Not like the stone rock, like a bird rock.
Right. And there's a rock.
It's not just a boulder; it's a rock. Anyways, and then it's like if you come across grasslands, you're gonna find like tribal warriors or like a cheetah or whatever, blah blah blah, that kind of thing. And it's, you know what, that sole purpose is just for you to plunk it, dump it into your, like, if you really want to, you can make up your own pre-generated, or your own make up your own pre-generated table. Jesus, Andrew, make up your own random encounter table, which is fairly simple to do. At the back of the DM's guide, just, okay, they're going into a forest. All right, I need, I don't know, 10 encounters. Boom, 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 boom. And then just try to remember, not every encounter is going to be combat. And so you kind of want to spruce it up a bit. So, okay, have one counter just be like a trap. Like, oh no, someone like a hunter left out a hunting trap, and there goes the barbarian. Now he's laced up a tree. Okay, now we got to get him down. Or like, hey, here's some kids that were playing hide and seek and then they got lost. All right, well, now we got to help these little shits. So, I mean, it's just, you kind of want your random encounter table, because if you're exploring into like unknown territory, that's going to be, okay, how do I incorporate the 3 pillars as best as I can? And exploration can be as granular or as broad as you want it to be. So if you really want to make a map, you can. You don't have to. I honestly wouldn't. I would just say, okay, here is the town, and you need to, I don't know, you need to go to the old abandoned fort, because that's where the orc raiders, or that's where you heard they're camping out in. Okay, so the old abandoned fort, it's, I always put like it's a day's ride or a day's walk away, because that way there's plenty of time for, stuff to happen in between. Yeah. And so and be like, okay, it's a day's walk in the roll of dice southwest direction. All right, I guess we're heading southwest. But then if someone's like, oh, well, I want to head north, that's when you quantum ogre that bullshit. Hey, that's where the orc raiders left the abandoned fort because they're scouting out for a better place, because they they heard rumors that the humans at the nearby village.
That's something that I honestly always forget, that you can, like, the players don't know this shit. You know what I mean? Like, even with the pre-made module stuff like that, like, I'm always like, oh man, they're going the opposite direction. I'm supposed to go that way. It's like, wait a minute, fucking move the dungeon to that area. I always fucking forget.
Just take the encounter and move it somewhere else. I mean, if I really wanted to, and I probably should have, if I really wanted to, because I was totally prepping. You remember in Curse of Strahd?
Yes.
I prepped for one area, and you guys went to a completely different
area. Oh, yeah.
What I should have done was just... the map was wrong.
Well, I mean, that could be... Yeah, actually, yeah, that could have worked.
The map was inaccurate. It was made by someone before the calamity or some bullshit. So... There are multiple tricks you can use as a DM, and the Quantum Ogre is the most basic one of those, which, for anyone that's unfamiliar with the idea of the Quantum Ogre, and I don't want to get too much into these tricks, because it is like a magician never reveals his secrets, but the Quantum Ogre it's a pretty well known thing, where, okay, you have a ogre encounter set in the north, because that's where the story is going to lead to, but your players want to journey west. All right, well then just take that ogre encounter and move it west. Boom, there. Now they still have the ogre encounter, and you just you give them breadcrumbs that lead to whatever your destination is, and maybe that city that you put in the north, okay, and now it's in the west. So boom, whatever.
Yeah, the guy who told you the directions was drunk.
Yeah, who's gonna know? And it really, I mean, the best analogy that I've heard of DMing is like you're playing a live set with musicians. Like, the musicians might hear the bad notes, but the audience isn't going to pick up on that. The audience is like, oh man, listen to this guy riffing. And you're just like, oh shit, fuck. And you're like, it's so unless you have that one player that's like, oh, wait a minute. According to the rule, shut the fuck up, first of all.
Are you the DM? Are you sitting behind the screen? You're not.
Yeah, that's a very important rule because I think it says it in the player's handbook, but I know for a fact it says it in the DM's guide. At the end of the day, DM gets the final call.
Yeah.
So guess what?
It says that in the player's handbook.
Variant encumbrance. It's realistic.
It's realistic.
But what I'm trying to get at is that kind of touches on homebrewing. Okay. So this whole rant and crap, the idea of D&D is that it's a game where you can feel like you can do anything. And homebrewing kind of allows that to happen, where you can do anything. And so it's like, hey, can I get a magic carpet eventually? Yeah, sure. There wasn't going to be a magic carpet in this treasure vault, but now there will be. So,
right.
And then just you can do that. Because the really important thing to remember is that as a DM, you are the god of your world. You can take out and you can put in whatever you feel like it. And I'm not saying just your world. I'm saying anything. If you're running an adventure, if you're running a pre-generated adventure, like say for instance, I'm gonna be running Rhyme here in a little bit, hopefully, God willing. But I'm gonna be running Rhyme for a little bit, and I don't like this character. It doesn't gel well with the story. His like motivations are kind of
Is it
and I don't no. God, why won't you fucking die? Anyways,
but remember, he's younger and buffer now. So
I'm here to fight the ice vampire. What?
There's no such thing as ice vampire in the background.
It's got icicles for fang. Its weakness is charred garlic. Fire roasted garlic.
Oh, no!
The flames bring out the subtle flavor. But okay, so like yeah, this character I don't see it rolling with this party. All right, fuck it, chuck him, take him out. Yeah, the players never knew about this guy's existence beforehand, so
right.
Whatever.
Right.
Or I don't feel like this quest is going to have a very like organic like beginning. Like it feels kind of hackney. Fuck it, change it. Are your characters reading the book? They fucking shouldn't be. Or like, are your players reading the book? No, then change it. Who's gonna know?
Yeah.
And it's just like, the players are really strong, and the final boss only has like X amount of HP. Nah, man. Boom. Now 3 times the HP. 32 AC. No, I'm kidding. I wouldn't do that. Maybe.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, you would. Don't even say it.
I mean, it's not like I did that before.
That's why it took so long to kill Strahd.
No.
Shut up, man. You don't know what you're talking about.
He would have been dead in the first fucking round if I didn't do that.
Oh, that's amazing.
But I mean, so it's just and that touches on another important point. The books,
yeah,
the adventures, they're not gospel. They're foundations on which to. That was the chair.
Yeah. Okay.
I heard that too. I was like, that was the chair. Oh man, that beer's going right through.
Yeah. Okay. The chair. Let's blame it on your dog.
Anyways, but
Andrew Cochino.
But the modules and they're not gospel. You don't have to follow them to the letter. And if you did, it would probably be really boring. Like, oh, I need you to go on this quest, and here I will provide you with 550 gold piece gems for doing so. Like, really? Why don't you just give me what's to stop me from killing you right fucking now and taking those 50 gold gems? Nothing, I guess.
Please don't do that.
Please don't. I mean, I don't exist outside of this quest line, but please don't. It's just and I mean, if another DM was to run the same exact adventures that I did, it would be a completely different and probably a better experience. Yeah. But
definitely a better experience.
Shut up! I gave it I did my best.
It wasn't enough, Andrew.
I know it wasn't.
We were all disappointed.
I know. I'm trying to be better.
That was like 28 sessions we'll never get back.
Quit affirming all of my fears. Oh man, have you ever like logged off Roll20? You're like, God, that session was a fucking bum.
Yep.
Like that. No.
I think it mainly happens when you DM. Not that's in like you. That's in like when you yourself DM.
Yeah, the player's like, oh, that was a pretty fun session. The DM's just like laying awake in bed, just
fucking trash.
Shouldn't have sent all those fucking scarecrows.
I had the opposite. You know, when the last session that was really good with the sword and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I dreamt about that whole thing. Like I was there. Like that's how like in my head it was all night. I woke up tired because I was in my dream doing the whole thing.
I think the only thing worse than the night after a bad session is the day after a really good session. Because you're like, how the fuck am I going to follow that up?
That's why.
Like, I guess no. That's it. We're done.
That's why you shouldn't think about that.
Yeah, you found the sword of Zariel, and that's it. Game over. Zariel does. She had a brain hemorrhage. She's like, you guys smell toast? And just fucking dies.
Jesus. That got so dark so quick.
And then Elturel just like, just kept screaming back to us.
Everyone like pressed against the ground.
Some people died from whiplash.
Somebody was like on a table trying to reach something. And
yeah, there's someone like trying to get like the cookie jar on the top, and all of a sudden, woo, just like 52 G's, just rushing back to the surface.
And it doesn't like magically go through the hard surface of Avernus. And
no, it's just. There's like a bub with a shopping cart on the material plate.
I'm gonna write that for the end.
And in further news, Elturel came back.
Mostly.
It's a little off. So like the roads don't quite connect. So now the infrastructure, I was like, oh god, we're gonna have to.
Oh my god. Well,
it goes back. It's like off level a bit.
We're off topic again, Andrew.
I know we're always off topic. This is not the podcast. Anyways, but I mean, no two adventures, even following the modules, no two adventures are going to be the same, and that's the joy and like the miracle of D&D is that if I would honestly posit that if someone is running the adventure the exact same way that someone else is, that DM is probably like a liar or not having a good time.
Right.
Because they're not giving it their own personal flavor. Yeah. And that's what homebrewing does. Homebrewing allows you to inject personal flavor. And like I said, homebrewing doesn't have to be like, oh, I came up with new survival rules, which I may or may not have done. But like I came up with all these new survival rules and stuff like that. Like homebrewing would be like, yeah, this guy's missing an eye because one of your characters is missing an eye, and maybe they can bond over it. I don't fucking know. So,
yeah.
I mean,
I guess. I think I understand that. I think you're right. It's a lot of freedom. It's a lot of fun.
I mean, Rick Tavio's name was not Rick Tavio Don Carlos Juan Pacifico Maria Menendez. It was literally just Rick Tavio.
But it is.
I decided to throw that in there because I learned how to say it.
Yeah,
And it's obviously been tattooed into my brain because I can't forget the name now.
burning the upper city of Boulder Gate was not part of the story, but you guys did it anyways.
But it didn't. And but it felt like if those moments, well, I mean burning the upper part of Baldur's Gate, but those moments, like, it really draws in this feeling of, wow, I actually can do something. Yeah. This raging inferno that's burning the upper class, like the 1% of Baldur's Gate, started because we decided to hastily throw some robes into a fire to get rid of them. And so it's like, wow, things actually happen. Like this happened. And then you're like, well, why couldn't they get rid of the fire quick enough? Because it's Baldur's Gate. It's probably like an early New York City situation where like the fire departments are fighting each other to get credit for taking out the fire in the first place. And it's just like, wow, I have impact on the story. I did that.
You're like, at the edge of the city. We did that.
We did, yeah. And that's why I was rolling in it. I loved it. I was just like, we did that, Oren. That was that was us.
Also, Oren's bookstore, that was not part of the story.
Yeah, no.
But I think that's one of the parts that people remember the most too.
Yeah,
it was so lively. And I like the fact that like towards the end, right? I think it was like last session, Quintessence brought up the questions like Oren's bookstore is probably still like his back room is still a dead body in there. It's probably disgusting.
Oh man, dude, when we get back to Baldur's Gate, like it's just gonna be like you can hear the flies like zzz, like from the lobby. And it's gonna like you open the door like it's just oh god, we never got rid of the
yeah, all the flies nested in your books and the larva ate the pages.
Those stains will never come out.
Oh man!
But it's Baldur's Gate because they're like, hey, you had a body in the back. Don't worry, we got some people to take care of it. Get some clerics in there, do some prestidigitation and shit. All right, that'd be 3,000 gold. Hold the fucking phone. I know for a fact prestidigitation is a cantrip.
Oh shit. Oh.
As such, does not require material components. Where's this 3,000 gold going to? Anyways, let's start this show.
Wait, what?
But okay, so but you also touched on another interesting talking point. Wizards of the Coast wants you to homebrew. Like how? Okay, so if you read any module, any pre-generated adventure, and you read the description of a town, it's gonna have and honestly. If you really want to learn how to build your own adventure, read a published adventure. Like it doesn't have to be Wizards of the Coast. You could probably just go on DM's Guild and just like read how they write it and stuff. Right. But read how they do it and look at the structure of like towns and stuff. Like most towns are going to be like, oh hey, the people kind of feel this way because certain events happen, and then there's this tavern. There's always a tavern. There's this tavern. There's this shop. And then there's this place. And then the rest is literally just fluff. It's 98% of the town is going to be, all right, you take care of it.
Right.
And that's how you also need to write. Just, okay, I need points of interest. You know, I need to have a place where people gather. So that way, you know, maybe you can hear some secrets or, you know, get some, you know, have like a quote unquote quest board.
Right.
And then have like, you know, a place where you can get resources because maybe your players actually want to buy material components instead of using an arcane focus or, you know, stuff like that. And then just kind of just pepper it in. Just make it your own after that. Like, oh, there's a house that's rumored to be haunted. And is it actually haunted? I don't know. You have to go check it out and see what it is. And like, oh, this old windmill, there's... Never mind. I was going for the haunted thing again. For some reason, I like haunted houses. but you get what I'm saying. Like, just like, honestly, just take a moment, just step back, and be like, what would be some really neat low-level quests that a player can just do around town?
Right.
And it doesn't have to involve monsters. It doesn't have to involve combat. It could be something as simple as, hey, my kid's gone missing, and I can't leave the bakery because the bakery across the street is going to try to steal my secret recipes or some bullshit. And so it's like, can you go find it for me? I will pay you in this 5 silver bread loaf. If you...
5 silver bread loaf.
That's a really good piece of fucking bread, by the way. That's like a focaccia. It's like
doesn't a commoner make like 1 copper a day or some bullshit like that?
I think it's something like 5 copper a week or something like that.
Now I gotta look it up.
We're gonna have an episode of A Day in the Life of a Peasant where it's like a +1 sword. Whoa.
No, keep going. I'm looking.
But I'm just saying, like this would be the moment to kind of make the town your own. And if you're having trouble coming up with stuff, there are resources to look up. Like you can just like if you want to go just purely off published materials, no one's gonna fault you for that. So you just be like, okay, I'm gonna just go into the DMG, look in the very back, see the random encounter or like monsters for this terrain. Okay, how would this monster interact with this area? But if you want a little bit of inspiration, you can always go online and just look up like starter quests or something, or like 5e like quests,
right,
and stuff like that. And you're always gonna find something. Like the whole internet is your oyster for these kind of things. And what's it? I think there's a website called Donjon. It's Dungeon, Donjon, but it just has random encounters, and it's just, but it's like, it's not combat, it's like social, and or it's just like player generated.
I think that's a very important one, having social encounters, because I think a lot of people think of the word encounter and it's like, oh, it has to be a fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
but see, and that's, I wish there was another word for it besides encounter, but I mean, you do encounter it.
Yeah.
But I mean, but then you can just like, okay, what would be a really interesting character? And then from there, be like, okay, that character could probably have this problem because they're blank. Like, okay, this character is a bard. He doesn't have to be an actual bard, like a class bard,
right,
but he goes around singing, and maybe you slept with the wrong person, stuff like that. So now someone's gonna come to seek revenge. Oh shit, I need someone to help me in this fight. I will pay you,
right?
Or I'll do something for you, if you give me a hand here, So it's just stuff like that. You just kind of have to empty your mind and just sort of let things kind of spring naturally and see what happens. Yeah. Like what the most important question is to ask, what do you want out of this village? Because you're the one making it.
Right.
So if you ever ran an adventure, you're like, man, I wish that happened, or you played in a game, you're like, man, I wish that happened. Now's your chance to put that into your game, because it's your game. Yeah. And it's like I can't tell you how many times I've had like an idea and I'm like, well, that's not gonna work. I'm like, wait, why the fuck wouldn't it work?
It's my idea. If they don't like it, they can leave.
Yeah, and it's like, well, how's it gonna work? Magic. Who gives a shit?
Right. That's true. Yeah. This is I'm already thinking, like, as you're talking, I'm starting to think about like the homebrew I'm working on for that one shot. Mm-hmm. So I want to put a lot of this into practice, including the mind flayers.
But yes, please do. I want to see some skull crunching at the end of that session. Anyways,
but wait, hold on before you keep going. It will be one silver piece a day.
1 silver a day. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
So when you tip with one gold piece, like,
oh yeah, like a hush falls over the crowd, like. That's legitimately a week's worth of wages right there. Yeah. I mean, dude, that would be great.
Right?
No, because you got to remember, in Faerun, a week is 10 days.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, they call it a 10-day, not a week, whatever.
Right.
But so if you tip with a gold, like the rest of the servers need to like fight each other, like they're tripping over each other.
I need to remember that for the next time, dude.
Oh yeah.
Like, that's like a common thing that like players do. It's like, hey, here's a gold piece, but and it's like, oh, okay, thank you. But like, if a bartender gets tipped with a gold piece,
you're like, no, give me that drink back. I'm giving you something better.
Either that, or he's just gonna like look around and like make sure nobody saw it, Yeah. Because otherwise, he's gonna get jumped as he leaves his.
Couldn't help but notice he got a gold piece.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm definitely a lot of the stuff that you're saying, like, it's starting to click in my head, and I think I'm gonna put a lot of it into practice here. Not this week, but the week after.
But I mean, and if you ever need any sort of like base of operation or like guidance or something like that, look on the larger scale. Look at like the maps of Faerun and whatnot, and just be like, okay, they've done an adventure in Waterdeep. They've done an adventure in Baldur's Gate. They've done an adventure, now in Candlekeep, Icewind Dale, and some parts of the Sword Coast. The rest of that continent is yours to make. Like, you can do anything you want.
The actual Forgotten Realms.
But I think that's intentional. I mean, they obviously did the points of interest, like like they would for a town, but then the rest, it's fluff. So if you want to have a little town that for some reason is being ransacked by mind flayers, then by all means go for it. And there are so many things to work off of, and I can't tell you how much I'm of. Because remember that like pirate adventure I was telling you about?
Yes.
And I was just like, fuck it. I'm just gonna put it in favor. And I'm like, oh man, that made things so much easier for me because now I don't have to worry about making port towns. And shit
it's all there now.
But there and again, not everybody's gonna be memorizing like, hey, Neverwinter doesn't have. Well, it's also said 200 years after this, so whatever.
Right.
Now it does. Things change. Like a lot can change in a couple hundred years time. A lot can change in a couple years time. So
couple hundred.
No, seriously. I mean, and so you're none of your players are going to be memorizing every little tiny detail and minutia of a city.
Right.
And so because of that, you can put in details as granular or as broad as you want, and there is so much freedom. And I think, and I do not blame anybody for this because I have this going against me too, but I feel like a lot of the hesitation when it comes to homebrewing is the fact that there's just so much to work with, and it's like, okay, you're just looking at a blank canvas, and I'm like, okay, where do I start? And the best place to start is right at the beginning. Honestly, it kind of is. Just write something. It doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to make sense. Just write something. You can always go over and refine it later before you roll it out. That's why they're called rough drafts.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yes, homebrewing. I hate it.
It's fun. It's great. I hate it. It's fun.
No. I can see. I can try to see the merit behind it. I mean, it gets me excited. It's just I know I don't have the time. You know what I mean? Like I know that with the modules, I barely have the time to prep for those. Prepping like a weekly thing for me. So like I know my limits, and I know that maybe perhaps at one day I will do a homebrew for our group specifically. Just to try it out. But for me, modules, and like you said, like that doesn't limit me. A lot of the modules that I'm running, a lot of the stuff there is made up. Like it's just made up,
Yeah.
Just to add flavor and color to the cities.
And like I said, you don't have to be a hardcore home brewer where it's like, no, this is my realm of existence and this is my continent. It can honestly just be something as small as, yeah, maybe Lulu is a size bigger than what she says in the stat block because she's an elephant. Why wouldn't she be? So and that's what makes that adventure yours. Right. That's what changes it to your personal flavor, and it makes your adventure into the character's adventure. And that's why weren't we gonna have an episode where we were swapping notes with another DM or something like that?
For Barovia, yeah.
Well, that's all right.
We gotta plan that one for.
Yeah. So, but I mean, just so we can see, like, oh, you incorporated that. Well, I thought that was fucking stupid. So, I mean, there were a lot of things in Barovia. I'm like, I'm not using that. So I get same in Avernus. There was a lot of, especially in that mid game bit, like there was a lot of stuff I changed. Yeah, and that's fine because your players want something, or maybe you want something that the adventure is either not providing or it doesn't really specify it in that. So then that's when you give it that personal, that touch. Yeah. And so, yeah, okay, maybe the fetch quest is taking a little bit longer than oh geez, all the parts are right here. Wow, holy crap.
Would you look at that?
Whoa, this hag was hoarding them all, and now you gotta beat the shit out of the hag.
The one that surprised me really was the fact that Wizards of the Coast put a piece in the adventure in Avernus that actually encouraged the players to commit war crimes. That was insane.
That wasn't part of the book.
That was part of the book.
You have to emphasize that the devils are sobbing over their lost compatriots. That's verbatim.
Here's a handout of the picture that
God!
the devil was clenching in his hand.
And there's just another one creating like a dying devil's like, take me, take me.
And if you go to this link, you can show them a video of how it looks.
It's just they don't put actual war footage.
Yeah, they don't put any effort to the rest of the book, but just that part.
Yeah. Here's the hyperlink.
Here's a VR experience.
Adagio for strings starts playing in the background, and now you have Survivor's Guild. Every time you take a long rest, you have to roll on a D100. On a 100, you realize the futility of the lives lost due to your decisions or some bullshit like that.
Oh man! All right, Andrew. We got.
You do not gain the benefits of a long rest. In fact, you gain a level of exhaustion.
Or 5.
You gain 1,000-yard stare. You have disadvantage on charisma rolls, but advantage on intimidation rolls.
Jesus.
And history regarding just the military.
It's getting way too dark. All right, so we gotta start wrapping it up though, because we're getting up there with the time.
Yeah, I know. We've been rambling on for too long. but I mean, just to kind of wrap this all up, homebrewing, as little or as much as you want, everybody does it. It's perfectly fine. They want you to do it,
right?
So
yeah, and I believe that another good point there is also for the players to also encourage the players to add to the story. And
you know what? The players can homebrew stuff too.
Yeah.
There's rules to making your own spells. There's rules to making your own magic items.
Yeah. I won't allow it in my games, but sure, go for it.
I mean, you might not be that kind of DM, but if like, hey, if you're like, hey, I came up with this idea for a weapon that I don't fucking know, but like I came up with this idea for a weapon, and the DM's like, okay, cool, let's incorporate it. I'm not going to give it to you right now, but we'll see. We'll see where it comes along. And so like, why not? And okay, almost no, well, not all, but how many of the spells in the player's handbook came from homebrewing? Anything that has the word Mordekainen, anything that has the word Melf, anything that has the word Bigby, those were all spells created by the original players that played those characters. And you're like, hey, you know what? I want a really big fucking hand. Okay. Bigby's, whatever it's called, Bigby's big hand. Or like, hey, I want to make a mansion. Can I just make a mansion? Just like, okay, it's going to be a higher level spell, but yeah, sure. Yeah, here's a mansion.
Right.
So, I mean, that's where these things came from, and it can be, like I said, as small as you want. Just be like, hey, my druid is ice based. Can I have spike trap be ice instead of vines? Yeah, sure, fuck it, why not? That sounds actually kind of cool.
Yeah, it can add a lot of flavor to your individual characters too.
Yep, it like I said, nothing in the actual book is gospel. There, you as long as the DM's okay with it, tweak it. Sure. Make it your own. Please. So.
Yep.
All right. Let's talk about cats.
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 I hate cats.
Cats. I'm allergic to cats, but I love them. Cats. I am allergic to cats. Like if one comes near me, I'm like, oh, little baby, and then like my eyes get all watery and pink and shit, start getting all puffy.
No, I don't hate cats, but these cats that the link you sent me are.
I might hate these cats.
Pretty awesome if you ask me.
Okay, so do you want me to take this, or do you?
You can go for it. You're the one who
all
found
right.
it.
So in the upcoming Van Richten's Guide to the Shadow World, or whatever the fuck it's called.
Love.
yeah, that too. They introduced a non-combat creature. I'm trying to. Okay. It's called the Staring Cats of Uldendar.
They're just staring cats.
And I think it says something about inadvertent. Okay, it's a wild magic thing. So there's going to be some sort of wild magic deal going on in Ravenloft. And you can inadvertently summon this 3-eyed cat that can speak to you and will tell you truths, like horrible, horrific eldritch truths about how like an alternate version of you like right now is being flayed to the bone by blah blah blah. Would you like to see it? You know, and it just the entire time it's there, it's pestering you and like whispering into your ear until you take a long rest, and then it just goes away. But it's just like I'm a wild magic sorcerer, and then and you summon this 3-eyed cat, and it's just it's just like somewhere your wife is cheating on you.
Yeah, I thought it was a group of cats.
I thought it's probably like a 1d4 plus whatever cats, but like they do. Oh, wait, hold on. Do they communicate with you through? Hold on. Is it these cats?
It doesn't specify. I hope it's not telepathically. I hope they say it out loud. So your party members are just kind of like,
I would want it to be telepathically. So it's just like the cat staring at you, and you're like, I know she's cheating on me, and like the rest of the party's like,
you okay, man?
Dude, you want to talk about something? And the bard's like, don't yuck his yum, dude. Maybe they got an agreement. So,
the staring cats of Oldendar.
Oldendar. Which, by the way, I tried to look up staring cats of Oldendar, and it didn't pull up anything. So maybe
it's a new thing.
Yeah. So so what this seems like is going to be something that's completely new, and I love the fact that.
Is it H.P. Lovecraft? One of the stories is Cats of Ulthar.
Yeah, the Cats of Ulthar. But I tried to look up Cats of Oldendar or staring cats of Oldendar, and I just love the idea that this thing, it doesn't harm you. It doesn't get.
It does harm you. It does harm you psychologically.
I mean, it hurts you with words. But I mean, it doesn't like attack you. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't like get in your way. But it just torments you. It just like says things and like gives you like, I don't know, like I don't know if it gives you visions. I would have it give you visions, just like a little brief, like like
you die in another dimension.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, here's the other you getting your eyes plucked out by Strahd with like a fucking like wine corkscrew. Just real quick, like, oh, Jesus Christ, like while you're in the middle of combat, just I mean, it's just
that's terrifying.
But that's the point. That's the whole point of that. Is that this? I love the fact that they're like really like okay, we're leaning really deep into the horror. Like this is not just. Like, this isn't just like, oh, it's an Oni and it's covered in blood and gore. Like, no, this thing is just, it's here to tell you truths that you did not want to know. Yeah. You know?
Now I'm really looking forward to Greg Vinton's Guide to Ravengard.
Ravengard, okay.
Yeah, isn't that what it is?
No. No, I told you it's a Van Richten's guide to the chat.
The Reverend
Van Richten's guide to what we do in the shadows.
Oh, now I'm really excited about it. It comes out on May 18th. It's almost here.
May 18th. Yeah. Wow, that's only 9. Wow, that's only 9 days away.
Wow.
Well, you know what? I have that Amazon gift card that I got for my birthday. I guess I'm just gonna hang on to that until that comes out.
I'll pre-order mine from my local game shop.
I should probably do it. Nah, fuck it.
Well, you don't have an actual local game shop, do you?
No, I don't. The quote unquote local game shop is like in town, and the fact that I have to say the words in town kind of gives you an idea of that I live in fucking podunk nowhere.
Yeah, it's like 30, 40 minutes away with traffic?
Yeah, it's like an actual drive. Like, oh, we're gonna spend the day in the city.
Got a your pickup truck with your shotgun hanging on the back.
And the fucking truck nuts in the back that say MAGA on them, because why not?
You gotta fit in with your people, man.
Yeah, of course. I have to blend in. Nobody can know the fact that I'm actually left leaning.
Yeah, otherwise they'll fire me from my job.
Oh, it's called natural camouflage.
Oh shit. Oh, you have anything else? Any other news?
Nope, that's it. I just wanted to share that little tidbit because that sounds really cool coming from this book. And also, did you the artwork that they had for the preview is fucking terrifying.
I don't think that's from that, but yes, that's terrifying.
Whatever that's from, that's awful. I love it. What? Oh, who is that Who is that? Junji Ito. It looks like a piece of Junji Ito.
Oh, I gotta look him up. I don't know who he is.
Yeah, it's that stark black and white with like the big eyes, small pupils. Like, that actually looks exactly. That probably I wouldn't be surprised that it's a piece of Junji Ito art actually, because it kind of looks like it. Anyways,
Andrew, do you have any session highlights?
no, we didn't play anymore. I thought we did.
We played. We had one session between last and this one.
Oh, that's right.
I don't think a lot happened though. What was it?
Oh no, I'm forgetting.
I'm forgetting too. Hold on, what happened? It was right after the sword.
The only thing I remember is that new Varric, which by the way, he's like you were like, oh, you're a new angelic character. What's your name? He's like, I'm still Varric. Oh, okay. Anyways, the only thing I remember is that new Varric for some reason was strong enough to pick up my character and throw him at another character, and I just had to be like, oh, okay, this is happening now.
Yeah,
oh gosh.
Yeah, that session was his combat. But you guys got to see Little Rico again.
That's right. We went back to Elturel, and everything was just like, everything was even worse than what it was. And then we realized you've never leveled up Ludovico.
Nope.
So we're doing like 40, 50 damage, and then here comes Ludovico, 11 damage. Like, yeah, sneak attack. Just you're fucking embarrassing me.
It's like
all my friends.
It's like that scene from Endgame when they go back in time and the Hulk is like smashing, and he's just like. Oh.
Okay, look, if I had leveled him up, he would be doing a lot more than that. Okay, you gotta trust me on this one.
Yep. And now Father Fioravanti is dead. The cat's still alive, so there's that.
That's all that matters. That, you know what, Father Fioravanti. I mean, he's the upper like part of a cathedral. There could have been things there, but a cat, slobber chops, never once did anything bad in his life. That's a pure and innocent soul.
You know, I can't even remember.
That's the only other character. That's the only other character besides Varric that's worthy of the sword of Zariel.
What are
slobber chops?
He grabs it.
I'm everything.
Where do you guys get slobber chops? I can't even remember.
We got him from the Vanthaper mansion.
That's
we're just like, you're my cat now.
Yeah.
And sometimes like, okay.
Yeah. No, it's funny because
stuck along.
It's funny because pulling the curtain here, but the cat hated that family, so he was gonna attach to whoever like was gonna take him out. And good thing it did because that house got on fire real quick.
Oh no, poor Slobberchop. Well, I mean, it's a cat with wings. It could have just like out of there.
He is a fat cat though.
Oh, that's true. Oh yeah, I forgot. He was a bit chonky, wasn't
he? Yeah, he's a lot skinnier now. He's been in hell for a while.
But it's just what's it like? I think I picked up the cat because I saw it was a statue of it. This is when I was still playing Ludovico, and I saw a statue of that one guy. Who gives a fuck? He's dead now. that guy holding the cat. So I'm like, oh, I gotta play the part. Where's my cat? I gotta have my prop because this is the only thing I'm going by.
And then they just gotta touch.
And I'm like, I actually like this cat. I don't want to. And people are like, all right, you gotta put slobber chops down. I'm like, no.
this cat is mine. Here's 20 sessions later, cat's in hell.
just crapping on Avers.
Oh man. Yeah, and then I think the session ended with you guys
kind of eating like Father Fioravanti's face, like no slobber chops, no, come on.
Hey, there wasn't any food. In fact, I'm surprised the survivors didn't eat the cat.
I imagine that's only because Ludovico was there. There was probably you get back.
The reason why they were all dead is because they were trying to eat the cat. It wasn't demons.
I will fucking stab you if you do that.
I
love this cat more than I love me.
Look, it's skinny. It doesn't have any. Oh man!
You will all give extra rations.
The cat is your lord. Oh, bow before.
Now that the Goodberry Druid is dead.
Oh man. Yeah, that session was just mainly. It was
like backtracking.
It was just 2 fights, yeah, and resting. You guys went back to the Emporium, ate, rested because Quintessence had 5 levels of exhaustion.
And it's funny because there was somebody in the group's like, guys, we should probably. No, you were like, El Terrell's getting really close to the ground. Like, it can wait till after dinner. Bring those pot stickers over here.
Like I remember describing because when you guys took the sword, the kid Citadel like blew up, and I'm like, what is it? I said, El Terrell is like, it's really close to the River Styx, right? But I didn't describe how close, and then like you guys are like, oh, let's take a long rest, and then let's go to the Emporium. I'm like, okay, and then you guys arrive to the Emporium, and I describe it as even closer now. It's like almost getting drowned by the River Styx, and you guys are like, all right, so how much is it for a meal?
Yeah. All right, we'll deal with that right after appetizers.
To the point that like after you guys walked out of the restaurant, I'm like, you guys notice that nobody's moving and everybody's looking in one direction only.
And you can't get service. No one's going to help you. No one's at the register. And you're like, excuse me.
Massive city is, and you guys are just trying to get a fucking steak.
Fine, I guess we'll take care of it.
And then we'll be back for our food.
Yeah, but I'm coming back. Back for my demon ichor.
Oh yeah, you guys made bank with that.
Didn't we we over. I remember. No. I think Crab was like, yeah, I have these 7 bottles of demon ichor. And Quintessence like, no, we have to shut up. I have these 7 bottles of demon ichor. Like, how much do they go for?
Yep. And meanwhile, El Terrell is like getting dragged into the River Styx.
Like fucking. Like, what is it? Final Fantasy VII where Midgard's like crashing into the earth? And we're like, it always does that.
Whatever, man. We'll get to it when we get to it.
Have you been to El Terrell? They're like a bunch of fucking drama queens. Oh no, hell! Why would you do this to him?
Oh shit. Yep. And for you guys that are following us, we didn't play last week. One of our players is in the middle of moving. And because of that, we won't play this week.
Moving to Georgia.
To Georgia.
Yeah. So, I mean, I hope they have their passports and stuff and their vaccinations, because that's a big fucking move. That's like on the other side of the world, ain't it?
No, Georgia the state.
Aren't they like a missionary or something like that?
Georgia the state, Andrew.
Oh.
A couple of miles away.
Well, I hope they got their vaccinations and stuff.
Yeah, well, that's still important.
Yeah. You go deeper to the fucking Bible Belt, man. It's like here there be tigers territory.
Oh shit. But yeah, so we won't be playing this week either, which kind of sucks, but it gives me more time to prep, so there's that. I think the part that sucks is that it's legit like the last session.
And it honestly kind of threw off our timing, because we're like, okay, because we always take like a 2-week break in between sessions. And I'm like, so am I still gonna get that 2-week break after?
Yeah.
After Avernus? Like, yeah, sure. So I'm like, so in 1 month we're gonna have
Yeah. Well, I mean, it does give some more time, but it's all Howard's fault. Nobody cares. So go find him on Facebook and cancel him for us.
Yeah, his you can find him on Twitter.
His new address is.
Yeah. P.O. Box. Fuck, I don't know.
his personal phone number is.
Yeah. And for some reason, I have his Social Security. Howard, you should probably like check your. Anyways.
And his last password. Yeah. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, so it gives some more time. It just kind of sucks because it was literally like the last session, but now we have to wait 2 weeks for the last session.
I know.
So it builds up the anticipation a little bit.
Well, also, I'm kind of hoping you're using this time to like super duper prep it. Like have Zariel like riding on like an M11 Abrams tank at this point.
No, this is exactly what's happening. I'm playing video games for 1 week, 2 weeks. The day before. Oh shit!
Okay. There was one. God, did I tell you about the difference between session 1 and like session 21 with me?
No.
Where I was like, okay, like session 1, like the week before, I was like writing down notes. I'm like, okay, we got to do this, and like in case this happens. In session 21, it's like 6:20, and Teresa's like, "Don't you have a game soon?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I'm like eating Cheetos.
You did tell me that, yeah. Well, but that happens, okay? Like, you know, I already know how the ending. We just have to play it out. That's all.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, that's great. But yeah, thank you, everybody who was listening to us. I know that the Facebook stream dropped, but we were still on Twitch. So thank you for joining us. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. And as always,
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day, yes, to all the mothers out there. And as always, keep on gaming and stay safe out there. Bye.
Bye.
Night.